good evening, wherever you might be watching us. We are back again on our favorite podcast this evening. We usually have this program on Sundays, but due to certain issues, we had to move it today, Monday, in the Gambia and everywhere around the world. Bidu, na Honorable Sodalajam, Honorable Abdullah Sise, Deputy Majority Leader, National Assembly of the Gambia, and at the same time, he is also serving as the National Assembly member for Old Yundum constituency. Honorable, is it Old Yundum or New Yundum?
All Yundum, all Yundum.
All right, Old Yundum constituency. Doc, being honorable, so Janimba, Michael the honorable, any loma last on your condo. Then from there we get into the program.
Baraka bake man, kai mbe mulbe konton na, lama lalbe dawa dato. Kai tilibula bala ventola jang is just 12 in the afternoon. So me honorable fanon konton na nkai bayalom bi yani nake bala sambanan jang. So odia mo ko ala bare butung. Min yantam madron the common denominator is the Gambia, and then so long the conversations will be done about that country, Omukukuma Baladi. So it's very, very pleasing to have Honorable here. He's my favorite MP though, but I will try to be very, very different in the conversation. But all in all, Mokendaba, and I'm very happy that we are having him in this conversation. So you're welcome as well to the discussions, Honorable.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Doc. Over to you, Honorable. Honorable, Bismillah, Think Point Podcast. Ining loma lala nyo condo. Janimba dinakachako.
Yo, assalamu alaikum. Namobe kontong. Mowe dauda. Gambia lembang America and anywhere in the world. Ngal kontongal to ngal kontongal la. Komeng ayafu nyamendro. Biga intele bijang Honorable Abdullah Sise, National Assembly member for all Yundum constituency and also the Deputy Majority Leader of the House. So kanadrong puruka ndaka kachato. Kachami yalong ka kumata baki ya. That's the juna. Ngalo moja mata mbira podcast la. And ye kacha kuma balso to jimen yalon ko aweden na bankola kola so mpanan na rakon dagi wolto do akili ndu momentum fadanga faje. I mean, we are not perfect though, but men nyantam bo falal bro. I mean, na karagal bulu al finance do man nintam bulu mo membe la may kam fadanga finance do man nintaji. So ngamre wala mo ko nyi moti abari yalon bitum bigay yalon dog mun na lecture fa so bitum na ako yale ke bala bole but after mun na lecture ma so mina karana do banne because I know ko he has a lot after men say ala me ala conference karano ji as representative of the people. I mean in the course of our work conference kala will do tan ka used to serve the people. So ngamo be konto ala baraka baki. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Kondanda bake bine fana sura jam pur kaje ko ni kacha nin bangu dingole kacha min ba banko kan ani min ba diaspora kakacha kula mi anna ka ba den ning National Assembly la kunya nyinna ani kuol mi anna ko ni ne the public life as well. Kadum kacha ko na kada bakama Honorable imum multi mi anna ko jama valier long kama mam fodin ke la ko la den ni badu na politiko kon afo molie Honorable e karma damu ta muntole anu fani do ko damu ta muntole andu munatina I wakilta kadala sidi kadum politiko nyin kono o fanna nyina in brief.
Yeah, thank you so much. Baraka baki. Ngamira fast forward. I mean, Kabiringa school bank in 2004. Graduated from Mindanao Senior Secondary School. Membe Farato.
Mhm.
Straight grade 12. Nga scholarship from Child Phone. Purka start studies la to GTTI. Government the Community World Development course ni coming to GTTI. So ngola start no. Kake and I did some courses with one of the school Child Phone in Mello, and they were supporting young people to it through that school. Ni karanta je. I mean, they can get employment for you through a system or let's say to work with their affiliate partners. So more for about 2 years. I mean, I think at that time I was one of the best in the school. From there, being appointed as become a program assistant at the level of the community, working with vulnerable families in the sponsorship program. So more like for more almost about 11 years, but then, I climbed the ladder several times to move from program assistant to community mobilizer and all that. Indian families will do okay, and I get a very good connection with families around the constituency in Bedam and Safcom. But aside from that, I also went to university. I'm currently pursuing my degree, even though still now I have some courses to complete. Doctor Maban, because of Nindo Ko Nyamendrong. So yeah, wala baje mang graduate follow, but I'm sure we'll graduate the next graduation thing ko ibasa dengan the course will be banne. But aside from that, we did a lot of professional courses in the area of social work. All of us study back, no banne for about graduate diploma and all that. So having no bang working for 11 years child phone. Then during the course of my work, I became one of the most popular, person around the constituency. Every political party would think, oh yeah, he's going to be the one near Lundi, maybe he will win. At that time, I remember when the coalition came, UDP and Samba Lundi win in 2017. And I followed with UDP at some point. Then I went back again in 2022. So no more than NPP Lundi and I won again. So yeah, that was it. So from the bit, political I think Mayor Nandu Dakono, because the people at the time, let's say in 2017, it was a popularity contest kind of. Everybody wanted someone who is popular to win the vote for you. And politics was never my na intention to follow because I've never think about getting into politics. But because at the time they want somebody who is popular, and I know I was popular at the time, I entered into politics. I won. So that is how it come about. For my interest build design from the level to. But my involvement with young people at the time and all that, well, at we financial in 2017.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kyle Kumada Bage. That's a great rundown about your involvement in politics. Yatandiko imu multimiano. Iwanata Bake ni nata funding killing community members wala dokola wasabu jiko watela Carolina de Tombo. Honorable Janimbo Dr. Bala Yininka. Question killing be a man of Jakari Bake. After 2021 election, Kabiri Mole Nyam Murumurung, Yajoko Honorable Abdullah Sise. Wada Malak NPP la Siran TOT Niata Greater Banjul area. What did you do different?
Well, yellow political one thing I believe in politics. Political manke new femkoti like suraka minaka nyo nganya ka nyo bully na. For me, politics is about consolidation of any muli kacha. Yes, you can have difference with people, but it is hadamaya soto. And I think this is one of the strength government soto in my constituency at the time. A lot of people in UDP, even though non-political parties say, but they voted for me because of the relationship I have with them. And if I respect them, dealer, I am doing it for the people. Not for myself. Also, I have served a lot of people, may I directly. Karimboda UDP, I have about 75 young kids in Dragon School. They're part of my sponsorship program. And Karimboda UDP, even though their parents are not supporting me, but I still maintain the kids in the sponsorship program can make sure Walla can continue. Because for me, it's not about the parents, it's about the kids. Walla can matter. So go continue. So Kabri election was fit. Although the parents would realize that this guy is not selfish. Like I had the opportunity to remove all their kids from the sponsorship program, even though me fall out. But I maintain them every 3 months. I'm giving them €100 for sponsorship package. Prila Fengo. So it was not a problem. So a lot of them changed. Kajiko, yeah, this one is a different person. And of course, also I have served them. I've dug about 21 boreholes in my constituency in different locations, and I'm serving. Like mbuka think of NPP lebejang bakala world. I ngake dawoda yalan ko mulbejere. Whether you are UDP, NPP, or PDYS, as long as you can have access to the water, it's not my problem. Because for me, it's about the people. Even if I lost the election in 2022, it was not going to be like it was not going to break my heart, Kafoko. I lost it because I've not done one or two things. I will just take it in good faith, Kafoko. Yeah, more like I decide, and then I will go and do something else and move on. So, but I think these were some of the things that the more connected demanding. And of course, also,
Yes.
I was not talking about people a lot. I was just concentrating on the service that I was doing for the people and then moving on. And that's why winter in 2022. So,
Honorable Senata Bage. Political maturity akumada Bage ni ada political la fanani na purkaja ko kanyo bunya ni ada rembo political kono wato wate. Honorable mba time o dile la puri ya ko dol fo mi an ka ba dending ye yurwa ko min samana tundo nyinka jene program o nyimba bana. But Cameroon de komo demanding iko ni UDP fall out. Min keta wadi jamala no muna keta sababu wadi fo yaje ko okay fine. I think I have to go with the incumbent. What was the principles? What are some of the things mi an ko wolita nyabo? Purikaja ko in President Barreta Nola in 2021.
yeah, I think in 2018, thereabout, Covering fallout the start can it started somewhere. President Barrow became the president and then being Abe UDP, until maybe the UDP at the time. So I think there are more the social media along too. They were when you move from between Barrow and Dabo. Because Dabo was the foreign minister and Barrow is the president. So I remember in 2018, early 2017, we had our first meeting in Banjulinding when Barrow was the president, already 3 months after the inauguration. Aji Yamseka, at a political rally in 2021, we will pay Usman Dawo the Jukal. I mean, that means President Barrow will have to go out and then Dawo will come in. So that is where the comment started. And then Molia started a feeling sort of bad feeling sort of in the process between these two. So those side to Barrow, those side to Dabo. But for me and most of my colleagues on one side, we were in the middle, trying to make sure, you move look at different sort of. But the more difference of the many along imang appoint nung Barrow la man sa kunda ko no. Because they did not appoint them, they felt so bad. Or for antara align Dabo ko makaya sandalo ko ben ko yin sirang wala sirang ulti. So this is where everything started. So until partner Daminto, I think 2 occasions in the middle of at the State House with Davo and Barrow and all other people, we discuss about this issues can make sure Komenko, you're calling regularized, there should not be any problem. But Amanna Tawa Nyama, calling fallout between them, even though, Eka Maslaha, but fallout sort of back end. So at some point, Barrow, because Barrow, your package to Kadin Nam Sola, Barrow was giving them $10,000 every month. You understand the card digital was coming K sung. And for me, I think that was not the case. Because personally, in Tebe, we already report the time when I left, I was in the provinces. No report me sort of. But we be a call comme sobi bunu la sotto kol kono comme sobi tam mol na feel ko media lon ko they are not aligning themselves to the political party and they got a party activities also yen dafa nan bindi wala ko of course I have been attending political party activities until at a point time that Germany ambe Germany le ye ngaje ye notice sa ko ye député bayle but prior to that ye député no be bay I know ko there was engagement between them and Dabo and then that way engaged Ani Kachata. But nobody engaged me about, war Coleman Bekeri within the party. And I was not aware Kafuko. People are even looking at me. Kafuko Nying is not aligning himself to the political party that much. So had it been to engage new, probably Hannah Benunje, I could have changed my mind, okay, maybe this is the main track Mintaka, it's not the right track. I mean, let me go back and I got track. But nobody engaged me. My engagement sort of so I was just sitting by myself. You understand? And Akisho Binaka Onyama, when bully, not constituency chairperson at the time, and some executive member went to Dabo. They had a meeting with Dabo. Ikayako, until Benin, come here, Modo identify Melanco is going to take my position. You understand? Even though they did not have any discussion with me. Yusufa Cham at the time came to my constituency in my absence. They conducted a mini congress and they removed the executive committee members. They were aligning to Barrow. You also be able to these are people so that was very displeasing. I tried to confront Yusuf at the time. Kafuko, you should not have done that. You should have waited for me as the MP to come back. We can start over this now, discuss in detail, and then me and Tabology, we will remove them. As if comment for respect at the time. So I mean, I don't attend political activities. Trying to do my work until at a point, another that is how another Nyaming. But of course, the accused Komen Baro was giving us $10,000. And then personally, I have not received 10,000 from Baro directly anywhere, but Roman Kolo Dintala. I know at some point, we had a discussion in Tendaba. I know there was discussion Kafuko UDP NAMS. At the time, our salary was very low. We were paid about $7,500 in 2017 when we came near, and in the other allowance is about $15,000. You pick up the mola fuel was not allocated at all for every MP. And then there was this appeal because you are having a vehicle for the errands of your constituency and you don't have any fuel allowance, nothing absolutely. That discussion emerged. I remember that very well. I started to Walter. But after that, Amanata, there was breakdown. Kafuko, either Fukolo before Baroba Kelafata, I think woman nana disclose Kotenke. These were some of the things Namen Kalamta Konyin. Just to be very frank, Kafuko was random. But the discussion nothing that collapsed, Amanda forward. and nobody said anything about it. And this was the time we are going baby nyoka na nonkola for it. We are all
Mhm.
together at the time.
Mhm.
So kabra
So
collapse
honorable,
meeting yeah.
did you felt disappointed fejigla tera UDP la o manya nyintole towards you?
Well, absolutely. Not feel like I should have given, I should have been, given the opportunity to explain myself. Number one, they did not do that. Number two, I mean, I felt I was disrespected as a sitting MP. How can a regional chairperson come to my constituency and conduct a mini congress and remove the entire executive members without the presence of the MP? Just because few people that are okay, they are aligned to Barrow. I mean, there should be evidence, Kafako, they are aligned to Barrow. At the time, there was no evidence. Just because Barrow was in fact in UDP at the time, but because, the people were seeing Barrow as the president. That was the thing. So that was my disappointment. And in fact, they conducted a rally in my constituency again without informing me about the rally, and I did not participate in the rally. Often not kere, wala fa ngana disappoint ko nyingo wala na fa wonte fa walk out at the end of the day, even before we mobile. Yeah.
Doc, do you have question for honorable before ba question do Ningala? I kuma jamal la foja me ala ka badeni ala exit la ka bo UDP la fananya na ka fu president Adam Barrow la pati nyinkan. Andu inara dala si dala nada win je ko den me ala ko it was unprecedented. Atandi mola kol me ala ko wala sabu dala wino da la jiko ina fananya to. Barata mo moldi me ala ko regardless of his political affiliation ay community muta nyola la ay talibol ma ko pour ka scholarship wol jara nin ku fanna dol me ala ko ba programme ko fala ni wo ala some of his development just to be fair to him too. But if you have question for him, it's Anyininka killing off. Dog, go ahead. Kormal mo kantal mo. I don't think Dog can hear us, honorable. Dog.
I'm behind it. I'm coming with it. I've been working,
So
but
babaraka bake,
I've been behind it.
ka okumara bake, ntadu. Korika moiko.
No, can you go around combat and come in again? Yeah, science and I'm well, but
Okamoy.
Njikita, hello, Dog, you come well. Yeah, I think he has to come back and come in again. From there, we'll be able to have him back.
Okay.
Yeah. So honorable katami nyata demanding ye idi amata ko mi Allah ka badending nyata ila development no ku ko tango dola. Recently naje funding kel findita no ke la balamba atandi command demanding about parliamentary judiciary enumeration below nyina pour ka jako niyata jibe minika kidiote pour ke la kodol la fa ke la sarali la fa and mo do natal defan jele nun command demanding ko atal fanga la salary la fa 1 or 2 times capital sita dibide bo nyindo dende wo ya vehicle mi allocate ale prior pick up wonin jamale o pick up wonin di alano in 2017.
Well, 2017, Barole pick up the molla. I mean, that's all we know. Barole pick up the molla. Yeah, as the president at the time. And I did the told bail in the National Assembly. I mean, among segregation can at the time. I did the moment in the MPT, whether you're UDP or APRC or, any other political party, except for PDOIS la. I remember Khalifa Usman and in Syria, all the Malamata, but even Suaibu were at Al. So it was for everybody in parliament. So Barrow gave it to us.
I mean, based on principles, Kabrin, doing call balanta purka wo fenko nyinta. What was there? Some of the things. Itale mun ye mun kul randi munatin yala na munatin na doing call man na wakil purka pick up nyinta.
Yeah, actually, I know I had interaction with Usman at the time, and Usman was my very good friend. I know one of the things made me matter because they wanted to know where the vehicles were coming, came from. I mean, who donated the vehicle to the president until the president is giving it to National Assembly members. Yo, fole. But yeah, and long at the time, president of vehicle the mall. So however the president got the vehicle at the time, more you did not ask. I mean, it's coming from an anonymous donor, and all of us together in parliament, being a normalized document for year is a gift from the president. So we collected the vehicles. At the time also we needed vehicles very badly because as parliamentarians at the time, I mean if you we collab min back pour do at the time. I mean, we know even before motor mi nga batame fanke at the time motor san nga boron di janding pick up mi na fon. But even that vehicle janding pick up na motor ni fon promotion la nga pack within a short period. So a collab num back honestly speaking, yeah. But I know the principle when be able no PDIS ko motor button diamond to left all before iba tala. That was their reason.
That was their point. Doc, are you with
Yeah.
us? Hello.
Or I'm trying to be with you, so I'm not sure if you can hear me because it looks like
Yeah, I
earlier on
can.
you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now, loud and clear. You can go ahead. It's a honorable Ningano. Fine.
Yo, ka kumara ya antala nyin karo role bukata political fanala most of the time. It's about society and what happens. And akumara bake one thing I personally appreciate a lot about Honorable Cisse. Aning parliamentarian ul jama fadada. Yo niya for dulsa America mari jaile but dunia kamola kukendo for fana montana ya.
Mm.
If you see many be bota UDP kang itata barokang jama mela palasol win no kotenki. So, leaving a party at a time where the president came from and their popularity was that huge, ni aja fon hanyi tafuka avoko ngakari nyolo baile, it only woji ko lebe sirin ko walta ganye no la kotenke. So it's like an entire UDP against, Cisse, and him actually emerging victorious speaks to only one thing. Ela kato ning ela ya mono mutanyami. So Hanamading wala bara kendo drone so sino ela. It's not any politician because Barrow as a person at the time was not any popular politician. So for you to be re-elected would have been inning Hadamading, signal and in, what kind of relationship you build in your community. And being a social worker for several years, that speaks to one thing, Niela Mulukulia drunk, people will always see the fact that this is a person who is worth voting. So Gambia manga ko mulka karre fela ka ko lafta karle nga karla ko bar karya mun kata kulle kejang. So ela katola fane wasila that nobody can dispute and no modern totano label and not even the NPP can claim that Ntole Kari winning the katu Emoto Malbe winning no. So that is out of your own efforts and one thing I do know is imanke politician de mi alonko ikadum molka sida or politics of personalities you about issues and you keep a very positive relationship with everybody and I'm a very very I can attest to that fact because I interact with you many a times about Gambia and related issues, even though, I have almost nothing to do with the NPP. But now, getting on to this conversation proper, a lot of things are happening in the Gambia. Ngaja fanay mo motimi yalong code funding kill karadam full ninku katangola sports and every other thing that involves young people. You're very passionate about that. Gambia has not played football on our football field for several years now. What does Honorable Cisse take from this, and what exactly is the problem?
Well, I think it's really bad. I mean, Nia Jube, Gambia Benyaming in football, especially in the West African region, the way we started when we first, qualified for the African Cup of Nations, Ning Ning Fanko Mentata, confidence Mentata in the African Cup of Nations, and then for second Fanko Nyinga, two consecutive times. I think not having an independent stadium or a football field to play in our qualifying rounds is terribly bad for us. But yeah, I know there are challenges between, I mean, the Minister of Youth and Sports and government, especially the two ministries, Minister of Works and Minister of Youth and Sports and all that. But I'll definitely agree, Ko. It's terribly bad for us, honestly speaking. And I want to agree, Ko. The Minister of Youth and Sports and government entirely should do better. Kajo Kumenko, do Konyi Membe Keringa Bank. Although, Minister came several times to explain to us the challenges that they are also facing in terms of, completing the job. And sometimes when they explain to, at that level, you understand where they are talking from. But it's always difficult. New Molman feels the play football also Gambia no left in Takara Mayo Jibe. Only for us to go and play in Morocco and Senegal or any other part of the world is terribly bad for us, honestly speaking, as a country. So, but yeah, we've been talking to the minister about this. I'm promised by March. Yeah, the stadium will be ready completely, and then yeah, things will start happening there. But it's really bad, honestly speaking. I agree with anybody who said, "Ko, we do not have our independent stadium in place for more than how many years? We cannot play our qualifying round games, and that's one of the reasons why Gambia qualification from to African Cup of Nations from a limit tabake. I will agree with anyone in Mayo for honestly speaking. Yeah.
So I have another question, and this pertains to ngajala nung komanta fanang Gambia dokulal. Now, when I say dokulal, I'm talking about occupational health and safety. Ngajala, about more either wara wala wara nyongol, either they were working for Nawek or not, but they were electrocuted, and all of these people died. Now, most of laws that are related to occupational health and safety are actually written on blood. In a sense, ikajala ko mantoro la kake mole naja ko abe kumaila nga luadu ni na banko kami alon ko abe nyinkusi fal baila. Gambia does not have any regulation that regulates occupational health and safety. Molga fale, and then we send imams to go and tell them, maybe alandaro long ila watu la sida. When in reality, I am not one person who believes in that. Because Tonya Bedam and Kuo Dolby Jane Sole Tankanole. Imagine getting electrocuted when you should basically know, safety measures that you should actually take on, electricity and related stuff. Mol kata quarrel tole dol be je fon trokol keta ke wala ka dol sare fon je, and then the real ka de mo be findi nan quarrel avoko mola fata je. So all of these things are occupationally related. Don't the National Assembly see the need? After seeing several people, once in a while die from either work-related incidents or getting electrocuted because of work or getting burnt because of, work-related stuff, that we should enact a law that protects workers. Because honey construction industry, they come moja sele bunjamba sando honey hard head otak. He's not even
That's
tied off
true.
to anything. Molka jolon nam bungol sante be boile be fala idura be cattle and all of that. And then we've seen a big boom in the construction industry in the country. Should we not regulate some of these informal sectors by enacting laws that protect workers?
Quite right. You're very correct. I remember, in fact, we discussed about this some time ago when these things happen. Occupational health is something we along Gambia. To be honest, we need that very badly. I personally try to engage the authority on this. I remember I sent a parliamentary question. I mean, we have another way of sending question. A written question. When you write a question, you send it. It takes 10 days for the ministry to respond. And I remember I sent this question to ask whether we have anything like that. Okay, not a melawolonko. We already have a proposed bill me along iba jube kan iba review kan to bring it on board for parliament ya jube. Then now and then we can look at modern legislative clauses put just to regulate this thing. But currently, it's not happening at all. And I think the authority from both from the Minister of Works, Minister of Health, they need to sit over it, Kajube, what exactly can be done. Parliamentarians, honestly speaking, because when it comes to policy, it has to come from the government directly. Ni ata regulation level. Ni ata la bakala legislation ulti ila bill ya review ya samana, or maybe we can come up with a private member bill to review the bill. Nga jube what are going to be the new clauses implemented in our kono just to regulate that sector. This has not been done. I personally had some, not feelings of the comment, but we need to do that. I wrote and then they said they are looking at it and they will bring it. Since then, but I think I definitely have to get back to them again to see whether they have done that. Then I'll pick it up myself. I don't have that much capacity in terms of occupational health, but when it comes to law, Purka make sure come protect. Definitely, even if I don't have the capacity, I can reach out to people may along they can help and then we can do this together. Can make sure we have the law in place. I'll get back to them. I can assure you. I'll write another parliamentary question again to get information about that legislation in place. Yeah.
All right.
I still have a lot of questions. And now another would be, we've also seen, crime rates in the country. This is your government, of course, deputy majority leader. We've seen, Gambia saying molmang safe ila do kudlalto, iman safe ila korda kono. Hani silo la fonka ngajala hani parliamentarian ulekela motol tay silo kansila. I think now it's actually hitting home that even parliamentarians feel that they themselves are not safe in the country. Now, in terms of security, we've had like economic for over 10 years. They're protecting just one man, the leadership. And then in our societies, I remember myself, I went to conduct an exam in the university in Azarena, where all everything was just scattered. Now, you see all the people, working in the streets, coming from government, offices from work. More so in your constituency. I'm trying to be sure that, Omar Semimbe, all Yundum is part of your constituency. It's a crime
Yes,
hub.
yes.
What exactly is it? Like, what does that make you feel as an individual living within that neighborhood or probably leading people in that neighborhood? And of course, as deputy majority leader in parliament, that Gambians feel so unsafe in their own country. And your area is becoming a hub for criminality and little banditry.
So I think we need to, especially the police, the security apparatus need to do some strategies now, because already we have passed the criminal offences and criminal procedure bill. Like, I mean, this is a new legislation. We are going parliament have passed it already, and then all types of crime. It is long. There is I legislation should be signed in that act already. So there should be strategies, the way to cope crimes in our country, and I think the police need to help a lot. One of the things the National Security Advisor is someone to see how best they can formulate some strategies in terms of how are they going to curb crime in our country. I know he has not started that much job, but as part of our work as parliamentarians, our advocacy has been for the police to get strategies. Of course, I know we are failing in some parts as members of National Assembly. We are not allocating enough resources to the police. Honestly speaking, I will sit here and say the police are not doing their job. They are definitely trying, but don't let me fail in our responsibility as well. Because when we do not allocate enough resources for them to do the work, then it becomes difficult for them to curb the crime. So I think what we should be doing as members of parliament entirely is to look at the EMEA oncoming, police will be prioritized generally, all that the things that they need in the budget, they can have a huge chunk of the budget to ensure that, all the materials they need to curb crime, because the police also will always be saying this. We don't have enough resources to do this job because we don't have vehicles, we don't have this, we don't have that. And we do not give them, because Madila, we do not give them the money, to be honest. So we don't sit Kafoko, the police are not doing their job when you do not give them enough materials to do their job. So I believe, as members of parliament, we also need to be, from a pragmatic drone can make sure come budget nata. We stood our ground can make sure police will the resources are enough to do their job. But there must be strategies in place because didn't go and sign thing. Remember caring, Imansila Fen, they go in groups and they do things ni par ñoo mabo itela hajola. Even Kunun Suto, I Mbeboka Nambamaya. I was coming on the road. Ngadi ni jamata Senegal la wine bor sarbeka. When I came with my vehicle, na moto lunda dingol le godi. Yenda moto ya lipal lipal ne fanta fa malo nyaadi le fam. And then the next minute what is going to happen? Wala ye wero tay. And I wouldn't even know me tay. Wala be kalaje. So I feel yeah, the police can cope that, but the police cannot also just come in that group of people just like that. They need to have the resources in place and also the materials. Me along ko wala be mako la purko do ko nyinkeno ya soto. Honestly speaking, I want to agree with you. Yes, we have challenges in our securities. Science and thing. Even though I know the police, all the security apparatus are trying. If you talk to the IGP and other people, because we know we have interactions with them, they will tell you, they will explain a lot, but they have gaps. Yenta menu yalan ko wala nyanta fulfill wala nyanta fill and then to fanga responsibilities as members of parliament when it comes to the budget, because yes, the executive will always come with their priorities. The police is under the executive, under Minister of Interior. Interior will come with their priorities. But once you give them the money, you're allocating the police, some amount of, resources. Mayor Lankomenko is under the Minister of Interior. But how about giving the police a huge chunk of money per make sure your material sort of that would be our responsibility. So I agree, Ko. We will need to improve on that. Perhaps next budget we will definitely have to improve to see that security can entirely manage. And then also we need to look at the foreigners, board interior, immigration. They need to work together. Can make sure there is a complete strategy. Me along with lab map outlet crime scene the Dawoda police will and then they can reach there within a minute. But this is not happening, but because they do not have enough resources and material as well. Yeah.
Donc jani batendena, let me ask him manani ninka nyin question on na I admission on minka sandete honorable admitting issues min fene di mal na ko time and again nka jela watu wati ika masakunda ka finde nanga nimmo ko ka song nin ko do keda, but pragmatism is not actually happening. Efforts on mantara takam pour ka joko kanyun ko modern security techniques and technicalities are some of the things me al na ko alnyena invest la kunto bakel pour ka joko ka soro dronol mon soto Gambia pour ka jako nimmol be tam takam bagu yesilo kam pour ka jako how many boats are departing from the Gambian Sea? How do you intend to cope that? Irregular migration to Kobla no niatra no iba jigiring including wala face technology that I put in forward. Nyara Gambia jibe entire Gambia. There is no more than two traffic lights. Me and look about Gambia Bangokan. Now about the traffic lights so bela jana. All the traffic lights are damaged right now. I'm also ibu kaja ko nin drive for nothing iba manya kelmi an ko dia des local. I mean, ko tamsir jasi ya fanya ma ko nyafa banko la luwal jibe la ila traffic rules so jibe. Gambia banko kam ilan sino sole malna sino sole kam moto boranle because moma sele buka mola moto toje buka mola moto sika buka samba fanna nyi time and again near the security wise because doc ya fanya me and I want to make an emphasis on that. Ye musu nyo min fala ala fengo how to call it ala biro nyi that's unacceptable. That could have been avoided. Nongomi and wala fata no hospital da kabraba gas on nyimaka that could have been avoided because that is not his job. Basic safety techniques mu fene dimi anaka kumada bak ibam legislation na sambal nam parliament pour ka jako workers light or labor light aneni yada jako dokula le pour et tangano nyamira dokula anila right ni la privilege ke fene dimi anaka di la nyaso be nyam. What are some of the things mi anako you want to put forward before the national assembly pour ka jako in code based as soon nyami because I mean admitting things when they happen is very easy to do it but really no one is really safe in that country, being a parliamentarian or even the president.
Yeah, you're very right. You're very correct. Yeah, but sometimes it's good to admit though, then kanaka different fengo different me along is indefensible sometimes. Yeah, but coming after Nyaman drug, we will need to improve. Now, in Parliament as well, the committee will be every committee is responsible for a particular portfolio, ministry or every ministry, a portfolio committee in Parliament. Me along is looking at the like conducting oversight over that particular ministry. So many the one every committee alonko, let's say committee on education and ICT, for example, when it comes to technology, the oversight should be on those things. It should not only be Kafoko, whether they are bringing money or not. You understand? The oversight should be what can we do better? What new things can we initiate to bring in? You understand? Between the select committee and then that particular ministry. Because there must be new initiatives. One minister appointed and ministers and their technocrats should come with new ideas. And based on the new ideas, that is where resources can also be, allocated to those ministries to implement some of the things, maybe life changing, activities for the citizens. So, but sometimes we lack these things. Sometimes they will come with new initiatives, but these are initiatives when you maybe cooler caring, and they wanted to correct that. But they have to bring in new ideas when you one month or so. When you talk about technology, when you talk about security, modern security techniques, and all that, these things has to be new completely. That is where also they can get more resources to implement. But in Nim photo will be like wrong. I mean, it becomes a problem for us to also go because remember, parliamentarians are, in our country, unfortunately, to be a member of parliament, they can get you from anywhere and then you become a member of parliament without any, you know, qualification kind of, you understand, with all due respect to people with minimum qualifications, but this is the norm in our country. You have to be someone you can articulate, you can understand issues, and you can also address issues near Jinikal. But if you lack that, where you lack that, then it becomes a problem for us to sit as a country to design programs or to bring in legislation is going to be a life-changing legislation. Because remember, people will do it for you as a member of parliament. You can come with an idea because you have the power to legislate, but you cannot do it yourself. How about having members of parliament they can sit and then do things for themselves? I mean, when they think about it, they come all the things that they will need from the expert is to give them explanation about some of the things when you're willing in the just due process need. But you can do it for yourself. So we lack a lot of things. We need technical, capacity. We need a lot of things as well as members of parliament. I will not sit and say, Kafoko, we know everything. We don't. Sometimes we have those gaps. Even though you sit with the technocrat and you feel like the technocrat know better than the parliamentarian. I mean from Keka. So how are you going to conduct oversight over someone who knows better than you? It diamond perform. So those
Right.
challenges are also there, honestly
Yes, sir.
speaking. But
Yes, sir.
I think yeah, I'll admit Kafoko we have challenges, but we need to improve, honestly speaking, on all that.
Doc, go ahead.
So honorable. Here is the question. we basically know that we have parliamentarians. More kendolo be jele mini alonko they know what they are doing, but there are people Nicole Komoro, you are a legislator. This person does not even understand basics, let alone to legislate a law. But didn't you people see that there is that weakness within the parliament, that there is a necessity to put a minimum, qualification requirement, for somebody to become president, or for somebody to become a speaker, or somebody to become, a parliamentarian as in it? Because ni wole man soto, not to say personally you, they would say, oh, like ya karanda wala na mala fin dolonga fen soto. But banku yaje dunia, londo ning faham rola kasamba. Ni maybe luwa da dale do mo ninna lo luwa ko bare dama luwa long ningo health dama health kulong ningo environment dama environment kulong fende je fon wete me understand it simply because you are a political surrogate of a particular party, or what some of us we are hearing in 2017 mini batata party alanga wulata. How do you expect to go forward now that we have like this legislature? You were part of the last one, you're part of this one. Don't you see the need for the last 10 years, probably less than that? Don't you see that there is a big gap in terms of capacity within the National Assembly, and there is a need to have prerequisite requirements, put in place for somebody, to meet before they can become National Assembly members?
Very true. I mean, there is a need, honestly speaking. I remember in our last conversation on the constitutional amendment, we had a discussion extensively with the guy from Netherlands. We talk about minimum requirement. You see, we wanted to bring that, but you highlight. I remember issues of, there is a violation as well to that, because they said Gambia is not an free education country, number one. Now, they are recommending the minimum requirements. It means you are only giving priority to people they've been to school. For example, yeah, especially for presidential position, National Assembly position for but they are where, most of the Mayalongo no, if you do that, because there are a lot of people in our communities, Mayalongo, they have master's degrees. But because they do not have connection with the people, it's difficult for Moli elect because people don't trust them. There is somebody Mayalongo, another grade 9 then. He has that, he or she has that, connection with the community. And the people trust the person, Purka elect. So this argument came on the table, and then we had an extensive discussion about it. But Labanta Menjala wala to go. Let it be fair for everyone. Let's say, okay, grade 12. Maybe if you have grade, everybody will have to go through grade before you get to university. If you did not reach grade 12, obviously you cannot go to university. So now the requirement is grade 12, but that doesn't mean they have to bring in somebody who graduated at grade 12. You can bring in somebody who has gone to the university, who has at least attended university.
But
That would be the point.
didn't you see that
But yeah,
discriminatory?
the people don't look at that.
But for that's also
Go
discriminatory
ahead.
to people who went to Arabic school. Munatin na mavo go grade 12 both Arabic and English. Isaji Arabu kada ningolo fanang. And local
Yeah.
language usage in our school system in our parliament, because akwai dan tala ko Senegal la parliamentary system benyaming. Niko mole ko moro surwa account for wafenga account. Abe min for you should have rapport people who would actually write this in laws. Ni gonde ko maybe luwa sa beni angale kan na sambara ni nola but ni ngamira alam fa wala kan rani na yaro ani na mol ke mira nyaming. I could put up a very respectable legislation without having this higher education. Why not we actually include people who go to madrasas kabuko near high school bank in an Arabic school and near high school bank in an English school, or probably you don't need an education, but we should be able to speak our own languages in parliament to communicate what our people want, because our people are not English.
Very true. You're very, very right. You are very, very right. Well, as of now, the parliament is doing that. We were supposed to have a prime member bill on this issue, but it requires extensive, investment, like the Parliament of the Gambia, because there is a law. Communication in the National Assembly should be in the English. It should be in English. Of course, the local language part is there, but there should be a legislation to that. But English, I will back. So there is an investment currently going on. Can make sure Parliament for digitalized, so that we are able to do that. Then there must be constitutional amendment to it, though. But you also have to have all the gadgets, even when you use to communicate. So now Parliament is doing that investment already. Yes, they want to do the investment first, and then by the time they do the constitutional amendment, you have everything on board, and then we can go ahead with that. But there should be constitutional amendment by all costs. Can make sure one, we talk about minimum requirement for qualification to be in the National Assembly in terms of education, and also from a communication in the National Assembly should be in our local languages. Now, the problem we have, which language are we going to use in the National Assembly? Because in Senegal, you know, they use Wolof because they know everybody in Senegal can speak Wolof.
But sometimes
I
people
know
speak
we have an
Fulani.
agreement.
I've heard people in Senegalese parliament
Yeah,
speaking in all kind of languages.
yeah. So we have some problem. I know we have this discussion. Kafoko, which language are we going to? Even if it is two languages now, even okay, it should be Mandinka and Wolof. Even that became a problem. Some people feel like no, it shouldn't be like that. So it should be for every language, but it cannot also be for all the languages. You understand? So we have that problem. But I know at some point we will have to agree as a country, Kafoko, yeah, this is the language we are going to use for us to move as a country. Oh, for a diakuya. So I became language maintenance, all of us in a more follow. But if I can language clinty, more may use that to communicate. Yes, sometimes Angaleko is Abarama, but communication should be in the local. If you can speak English entirely, you can do that. But then Namankawati, you can use one local language, either Mandinka or Wolof, or let's say Wolof and Mandinka, as means of communication in the National Assembly. Niwo Mastero, it will be very difficult for us to go because a lot of members of parliament, when it comes to communication in English language, a lot of things that they can say. But if I phone in English language, honestly speaking, we have that challenge. Personally, I will admit, even I have those challenges, honestly speaking. But nim mani kango ni suru akango beben fono mani kango ni suru akango. Oma angale kango taraji. And then the people that we are representing will in fact respect us more. We are hearing what Honorable Caesar is saying. But angale kango be matandikan, to be honest with you, nim mafo, manto nyafo, abe matandikan. Honestly speaking, as members of parliament.
Yeah, Kodok Afanyami Honorable, Nera Jibe, I don't think it should take you guys much to introduce local language in the parliament because these are legislations. And the Atulaba parliament, I mean, Yafanyami,
The it has some political will though. Political will be because there are a lot of things to it though. I'm not getting comment there are a lot of things to it.
Yeah,
Honestly
but
speaking.
I understand that part. The whole
Huh?
point is when covering parliament ya ko nila party ye by imanya na fole la siramala. They put in a legislation. When parliament want to increase its salaries, parliament does that. When people want to listen to our parliamentarian ngajo ko kare we nade ba fokan ka bata bakele anun tol lafta moyla la lafta min fol anun galon nako hama ken dole be dole anden konko do ke do ne afonya ni man ko foja me fem fola. That should be very easy to legislate and allow people while you work on the system because when they speak, people are listening. And then Afola Mandiado, Maragambia. Because somebody is in that parliament who cannot speak either Mandinka or Wolof, I doubt. You're going to speak Mandinka, you're going to speak Wolof, and you're going to speak English. All these three is impossible. So that means,
But I'm not
and then people outside would hear. So therefore, if there is the political will, then I think the parliament should champion that because it's its own members who are struggling to communicate to their own constituents.
yeah, I actually don't know either for entering closely. Last it becomes a bit difficult for
Oh,
Kasamba.
okay.
But I have to check that. Not entering closely, then it has to go through a process. Well, I made because I know the likes of Halifa Salah, Kabaya Parliament, so CDA Anim Magasi, I remember in the fifth legislature championed this issue of local language. But man legislation came. If the legislation was that easy, I know CDA would have done it. But there is more to it than just legislate. There is a lot of things. May I going to put in place follow. I'll have to look at it whether it was an entrench. It is an entrench clause. The entrench clause, it has to go through a lot of process. But this legislature is working on it. I'm not sure whether we will complete it before the end of our term. But nina time bana dawoda. Mbatula lamento. I'm so they will complete it.
But if we talk about term, are you trying to tell us that this is going to be your last term?
Well, I don't want to comment on that for now. All I know, I am still in the second term, and until after, maybe we'll come back to that later. But now, I'm only serving a second term. Maybe third term can come, or maybe this can be the last as well. It depends.
Honorable, are you a fan
It
of
depends on a
term?
lot of
Are you a
factors.
fan of term limit?
Certainly, I am. I am.
I am a strong believer that you are quite a very gentleman par excellence, And I am a true believer that this is a person who looks into the future and does not want to be stagnated in one place or want to remain in the National Assembly for long. I do also believe that there is a lot ahead. And, my own view would be, even if the NPP wishes you to get into the National Assembly again, is this something you are considering?
Ama Mbadu gonna comment follow the along. Alam political along course here back. Oh, okay, I have my own, you know, reasons for now, but I just want to keep this one aside. Maybe we'll discuss this
Right.
later.
So we
Yes.
still got to dwell on the politics of it. They might think that, oh, you're letting him go because he's your guy or whatever. That's not the point. Here I'm going to focus a little bit on the NPP. NPP has become, quite a household name, a formidable party within a short space of time, and there are a couple of things that I might agree and disagree with. Why do we need NPP scholarships to students when you are the government in place that can direct all scholarship packages through the government?
That's a difficult question, though. But yeah, I will try my best. So one thing I know, because I'm an executive member of the party, I know we had this discussion at some point. Um, government is giving out scholarships at their level. So the party also thought it wise. There are members in our political party, many along coming, especially Musul Jamabeji. They talk about this. I am an executive member. I know I can attest. I have met a lot of people in our party, many along they request for this package. Personally, in the phone, the Jamaican no Makavoko, new school, but because these kids, Jamabaje ila result of Mulun coming community along coming a government scholarship sort of for example, you're going to school, but ila result mambetia coming just to get government scholarship. But you still want to go to school, or your parents still want you to go to school. So the party thought it wise Kavoko, if you have money, we can support the people, many along coming Jamabaje ben of course you have to be part of the political party, especially women, many along school. So through their parents, many mostly called the Dingle Markway, you support they go back to school. Either you are at grade 10 or grade 9 or grade 12, or some of them are going to university, or some of them are going to private institutions doing some technical courses or professional courses. So this is how they are supporting them. I know that is how the design came about. But because they were requesting a lot from ministers, they're requesting from parliamentarians, they're requesting from our party executive members, personal support. That's what they call a request. So the party has some money. We can just do that to support our own people. I mean, I think the support is basically for supporters of the NPP and not for everybody at the time. Yeah.
But again, NPP is the ruling government. Let me just give us a reflective thinking here. Jammeh, we can say everything bad about him, but this is a person who championed education and was actually giving scholarships free and fair, irrespective of political affiliation. Some of us went like, how I got my undergraduate scholarship was I took a form and I went to higher education and I was called for an interview and I said, "Nali adi nanga karanal di nanga rasi burfur nga nyamo sa nga ato nga bonsur." And they said, dude, just go. We're going to give you a scholarship. But again, sighing, will this not compel people who are not competitive enough to get this scholarship rightly to say, let me just use, a political identity as a shortcut to get scholarship? Do you think this is free and fair for a ruling government and a ruling party to establish a scholarship scheme for its supporters and not really the generality of the Gambian people? Must one be a supporter of the NPP to get a scholarship?
Well, I know the first instance, party, but the second one, I think they have extended it a bit. Kafoko, they still can get some people outside, but depending on the need. So I remember there's someone made application for Intel. No, the guy is not part of our party. I submitted the application. I think he got the scholarship package from the party through me because nothing else can call you submit no Kasamba. So, but even for them to yes, ninga atara kira party da mati sometimes you may not know everybody, but also for NPP as a political party, we have our membership cards. So some of these people will also have to be a member of the political party. Either you or your parent has to be, a supporter of
So,
the political party. I mean, your
honorable, the
membership card
money
is free. Yeah.
is the money coming from the government or from the party?
No, 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 no. The money is coming from the party. Honestly, I know, we used to do these fundraisings and we get money from our fundraisings.
No,
So through that, that's what.
nila party lo kudo lang kay.
Yeah, and no, party could also because Menkata, there are people
No,
in our party,
Mang,
they support the party a bit. The party, they are executive members as well.
Exactly.
So people like Haji Baniko Suso Hall, they have something. Sometimes they'll come and say, okay, I have this amount of money, 500 or 1 million, just to put it in the party's account. So sometimes these are monies coming from the use, Kamol Marco, and move on. Yeah, I know that.
But in the wider political spectrum, did you not see that as something that is not politically fair to all other political parties because you are the ruling party and have access to money and of course partners and people that you give heavy government contracts are bigger supporters of the NPP and funders of the NPP turn around and give you a lot of money to go and fund almost every child in the Gambia and all these children will grow up with the mentality go NPP and NPP and then because we need to have membership card to get access to this scholarship. That is, in my view, buying people through education. What would
No,
what would be your reaction to that?
no, anyway, no, Yalo, I mean, Malmo, doctor,
Huh?
one thing I understand from it, I mean, the scholarship issue did not just come like that. Kafo particular for scholarship package is someone and di mola. Hold on, ngadiam. Chairman, mangsi yon mangenyo wa? Chairman,
Sorry, one second.
chairman,
Uh,
chairman.
yeah. So Doc, pati chairman la call. Janin chairman of bina ponis la na futara je. Jikin jigida wala na call ni siko fanani. But ya nyen ka kisono mina ko mada bake. Ni ada masa kunda jibe gulo la babulu symbol be bol fana. Ika bankola contract di ila supporters sol fana na pulga je ko se mona fano nyami. Ning masa kunda bada na karabunda ni don. Jikita ko anyana fair like transparent and equality also should be shown at all indication. Yeah, I mean, Honorable is back. I think we can have him back. Um, um, sorry.
Call
On,
him. Yeah,
so yeah,
go ahead.
you can go ahead, Honorable. You can go ahead.
Okay. So, doctor, the issue is the issue of the scholarship did not just come like that. This issue of scholarship came from requests we received from people, especially within the political party. So when it started like that to support people along coming they are in the party already because a lot of people in our party wanted that support, and they are requesting it from people, the executive members, the members of parliament, the ministers. They go to you directly and then they request this thing from you. And coming after Nyame, most of them are doing the qualification of the to get government scholarship, and government it also don't know possible because you know result better pour so what the party can do for you, your parent is part of the political party. Maybe I don't know school. There is money with us. Say support no. Yes, I understand. Whether we give them government contract, a lot of them government contract being meant. I cannot remember. I'm not saying they don't do. I wouldn't be able to say because I don't have the interaction with them. But all I know, the party used to go in for fundraising activities, and then they get some money. You understand? And then they give it out. No witness about 1 or 2, 3 times we get some money and then we spend it. And never from coming, some people in the party will have some money and then say, okay, I want to donate the party. It happened. Personally, as a member of parliament, every month I am contributing $10,000 in the party account as a member. So all other members are doing the same thing. So there is money in the account, in can be used to support, some other people. But other activities also sponsored from our party account. Sometimes the president will also come in. Those things will happen. Yeah, but not Kafu coming for. They are using it to buy people. It depends on the way. Maybe every politician will
No,
look
no,
at
no,
it.
no. Basically, when you talk about scholarship, it could be done out of good faith.
Yeah,
But when you look at it, I'm not looking at NPP as in
yeah.
just a political party, but the ruling party.
Party.
Now, this problem that you've highlighted, do you realize that it's a national problem? It's not just about NPP Nila supporters. So this is affecting a lot of Gambians. Mini alonko, itola karamo mafe ila kaitol masila no to get government scholarship, and they are in their thousands. And some of them are not NPP supporters, but we want every Gambian child to get an education. Now, isn't it the responsibility of the National Assembly to have a prognosis of our educational problems and needs, to understand that more better government scholarships Sodonola, and of course some of these people because of their results and all of that, how do we make sure that there is universal access to education for the children of this country through legislation and through making sure government commits to certain things, not through political parties and of course political identities. You don't think that is also necessary? Of course, political parties can do their bit, but don't you see it as a national problem that requires legislative action to address some of these problems?
It is a national problem, and I agree with you. Well, in the last constitution, Memphis, in that constitution, even though the political will does but I think that constitution was good. Kafako passed and was going to commit government to do a lot in our education sector. But because I'm on pass, and then we have that problem still now. But yeah, we still have a problem in that, honestly speaking. But I feel like when the new constitution passed, we are going to have everything done because that constitution takes care of everything. Me along all the government committed to the cause, honestly speaking. So, but it's a national problem. The NPP, the UDP, and every other political party, maybe if they play one or two in a bit new play in whatever they can do, government for the attack, the rest will be But I think there should be but also if you bring in a legislation, you can only bring legislation in the constitution. You understand it? To commit government to do certain things. And that is the constitution main filter in the first reading, in the second, I think the first reading. Now that I passed on, maybe we have to bring it again to ensure that I pass. But we have the issue we have in the constitution is not, those particular clauses. It's not that. Remember what the war is different from those things. So I think that is what we need to address. Then we can have a constitution, and then the government will be committed to all that. Honestly speaking, yeah.
Honorable, you have engagements and Malaviki Latamo West Jam back Wanyam. So my question further matters of the lady. From there, I will allow you to go. And personally, I want to delve a bit into the current, serving as the current chair for National Assembly Committee investigating the issues of Jambe. Mojamale Nyakuya Bage, it is one-sided party selection, and another people also said, it wasn't gender balanced, especially Molmianoko, they are gender sensitive. Selection process ni mana atine jigita ko parliamentary ne tombo pour ko ñu ko ni chair.
No, in Parliament, when it comes to selection, we have a committee responsible for selection, a selections committee. And the way we selected that committee, I remember. I mean, I wouldn't say Kafogo. Personally, I never knew I was going to be the chairperson. I'm Malon Fang. You understand? So every political party in Parliament is given a chance to nominate one person. From NPP, cover the majority and the minority. So Ngolake, and then the independent bloc. So when we selected, I know in the minority, because in the camp we have a female, yes, a nominated member, but also in the UDP you have a female elected member. So cabinet selection, okay, a woman was nominated, of course, but comes from the minority group. But men fire bondije, it's less of a phone. But when we came back to the table to present the nominees, more nominees and then this female was not there anymore. So I can't but I think the process was very fair. Go give chance to the majority come to go and nominate 2 people, minority nominate 2 people, and the other 2 we give it to the other independent Fango block so that they can also choose. Yes, this is okay. APRC was there, NRP was there, so nyama just to make sure we have that balance of political parties in the committee. So UDP member was there. Madi was chosen from UDP. And if you choose Madi, you cannot choose Fatcham, for example, as a female. So, if you come to NPP, you have to choose. Yeah, you can no longer choose any other person. NRP got Alajimbo, APRC got Serif Sar, nominated member, Keba Lamfofana came in, and then Jato came in from the independent. So that was how selection was done.
The composition.
Okay. It was very fair.
Scientific alba level jamal intermoni na. Hearing
we are done with the hearings and everything. The report also is completed. We are just doing some technical review and all that. I mean, I feel like I'm still I have to be careful not to say anything about this report for now. But we are coming out very soon. We are coming out very soon. We are coming out very, very soon. We have done a lot in the report. I mean, I can assure you it's going to be one of the best report Parliament ever had. More table, inshallah, when people will see it. Yeah.
Ale mo jamala invite
but then I know before.
Ale mo jamala invite nam pour ale mo jamala invite nam pour kana nan ka hearing nyinge. I mean, Jamala hearing Bijamial Noko, it was really tough for you. For you below at some level.
No, Yalon, we have lawyers. I mean, these lawyers they're all problems, They can talk. But yeah, but it was okay for me. I mean, I feel like I was only doing my work. I mean, more than partner, and then at the end of the day, it becomes one. But for me, I don't know. But all of them were tough though. I mean, it's an inquiry. More kind of yellow part different wrong. It was tough for all of them, honestly. I don't want to mention
Honorable,
anybody here.
Okay.
this is a matter that I have a lot of questions on, but of course I don't want to dwell on that. But first, my whole point is this events happen shortly after the change of government.
Hmm.
So change of government at the time is no UDP ni NPP ato lebe man sakunda. So I will not say you, but Allah man sakunda le ni solo wafu 900 la jang. Allah man sakunda le ni solo wa motolo wafu 5,000 la jang. Allah man sakunda le muruntal kalye mol minita puri ya jamela baga solo jibe tapalya ni tilimbali ala keje. Ko Allah man sakunda le murunta kal bol investigate la kodenke. And do you think that a government that instituted a commission and that commission in it, operations and of course through other partners went on to sell, Subukilo fula Gambia from Watamida, $1,000, can you so wafu 900? Umasa kunda kinwe mudun kodenge ko itol ko investigate kodenge. Do you think there will be a consensus credibility giving to the committee that is headed by the NPP and this is the NPP government? And of course, having another nominated member from the NPP, at some point, even though I would not say that, I believe in your credibility. Other people would say, no, this is political. Did you in any way, what exactly would you think is like the strength of that committee and the work it is done would be very credible to the Gambian people?
I think this is going to surprise a lot of people in the Gambia. This is a parliamentary committee, and even though I'm NPP, but I'm working for Parliament at this on this issue. So the report is basically for Parliament. So whether it affects the NPP and its government or any other person, it's not the problem of Honorable Cisse. At the end of the day, Honorable is a member of Parliament working for Parliament. You understand? The report stays in Parliament. So it's going to surprise a lot of people, Kafoko. We are going to be very fair in what we have done, and we are going to present a report. One of the best report I can say. We will present that. And I'm so also there will be a political will to implement whatever comes out of the report. Honestly speaking, I can assure you that because Parliament will take it up. This is a parliamentary committee. Me along come and go. We are not joking with it. Parliament has invested a lot of money in it. Of course, the executive has a say in some of the recommendations we're going to come out with. Of course, it are implemented without looking at it as well. But yeah, that is it. But Kafu Komenko, Honorable Sisa as NPP, the nominated member. I know, yes, we are NPP and then we are part of government, but we want to assure people Kafu Komen government is going to implement any recommendation coming out of this committee because these issues associated akita and mo jamala nyabe between at the time. So now ni mo nyabe ta kukono me alongo men ko ay mol batande and mo be ba fokan. Nin kuna la findi okono me alongo men ko man sakuna inda simpanya talaji. Of course I think they will take it. Because kuni mammenje be nyaay wala ji. So I'm so they will take step on it. And of course also the logo men ka kono. What we are going to bring out? I'm not saying we are bringing out something, but whatever is going to come out of the report, Ning ayatra komen ko the evidence are very credible. Of course, I know they will be credible because we have done public hearing and we have evidences in our possession to look at and review and then do all that. Whatever comes out of the report at the end of the day, I'm sure the government will take it seriously as well, because then it's between the parliament and government. You understand on this issue? Yes, I have seen other commissions. One thing you don't do as a committee, well, when someone in a report, me along comment ko, abe hagil jakaso just come with facts. That you can also present and then you can defend. Then you're fine. And this is what we are doing as well. We don't want to bring anything me along comment ko. Even during the public hearing, Masoto, Maje, or maybe evidence about it, we're not coming with those things. We want to come with facts on our report, in our report. But then it's not about NPB or any other political. It's about National Assembly. This one is Parliament. Parliament will have to make sure that the report is implemented. I can assure you.
Honorable, I have this question about the parliament. Why does the parliament continue to increase its salaries, clothing allowances, and all of that when we have people who are nurses, healthcare practitioners, teachers, and all of that? Many alonko. Tonya ne Gambia la baluo dajibe. Nyemano boro san 2,300. Eko luoli be paso jola karado kola. Know that you probably spending 100 or more. That's almost 3,000 or less. And then you know be able to ibola lunch jola minimum salary wage. Don't you think that is necessary in the Gambia? Then parliamentarians increasing their salaries when we have healthcare professionals, teachers, nimo kotong mini alonko. Well be do ko kela for tanjitan nani. Their retirement cannot buy them a bag of rice, but of course a parliamentarian can be there for 10 years and of course have a big, retirement package. Do you think this legislature is not more of an animal farm?
No, okay. The issue of salary increment for National Assembly members. I mean, since 2022, I remember 2022 and salary increment when we came newly. I mean, it was not. No, that was a review. Review like government increased salary for all the civil servants and parliament for Nyola. After all, government did it again and parliament did not increase their salary. They did not increase anything. But it was, also make a problem. Salary increased. If parliament refused to increase, it means the staff at the National Assembly also would not have salary increment. And that is not fair. And I think the other time, we did not increase for our staffs. Now, below Nyama, only government gave it to more and in other parts. So it's not also fair for staff they are working for the National Assembly, being increments to the Masoto. So many times I can't matter, but this time, okay, we'll have to augment so that to staff to the same level because Kabin government okay, even the director was receiving more salary more than the parliamentarian. And in our structure, that is not normal. You understand? And the ministers also went too far away from parliamentarians in terms of the structure. So one 50% level on the basic, and then so that we can come apart a bit. But I agree with you, Ko. Minimum, wage structure in our country to ensure that everybody continue to receive something. But if you look at it right now, also even though it's not much, government have increased salary by 120% for civil servants, and then now the minimum money maker say as a government worker is above $5,000. I mean, let me say 4,000. Let me not go to five, but at least $4,000 or 4,005 to $5,000 in money worker salary. Because I've seen staff in the National Assembly now they are going with more than $18,000 every month, both salary and their allowances. So even though it is small, but yeah.
When we look at minimum wage, when we talk about 4,000, momi alongo come. Let's say sometimes put yourself. You have been a social worker and you know the society, you know the people, and that is why they keep voting for you. It's because of the people you've worked with all these years and you know the problems of society. Now imagine another community, fatoto another sound combo. I have to work a job that pays me like 5,000-6,000. I have to rent. I have a family with a wife. I have to Is the reality. Now, even though I know the country too does not have a lot of money and all of that, but what can we do collectively in terms of discussing these issues and looking at it, progressively to see how we help society to be better? Because near the society fisiada, nyintilimbalian ni sunyarol ning, kalabantia mimbe society kono dinol beka da mole bandiolti more so, in those areas, including your area. I don't know. Sometimes I keep wondering. I wonder what Honorable is doing. He need to start, talking to his councillors to run some discussions in his and raise awareness in his constituency because so don't you think it's something that have to do with people and their earning capacities? Because when people are empowered,
No, that's very true. That is very, very true. Coming all for the wrong go, remember caring young, coming like maybe but I think government need to do more and probably in the next budget they need to increase can make sure the minimum wage structure for everybody remember do call. I mean people need to earn decent wage can make sure they can take care of their families. I agree with that, honestly speaking. Okay, more than even before I became a member of parliament, I was going to school. My father has been a headmaster for more than 30 years. I know how he suffered in this country. Being a headmaster for 30 years, at the end of the day, retired from you cannot still, take care of your family. I have seen that. So I never survived to work on from Kebayata. So I know how, I mean, but I think government need to work on strategies. Where in legislation level, I know Parliament is ever ready to support government in anything that they want to do in terms of budget allocations. But when it comes to ideas, when it comes to the design, it should come from the executive. I mean, I think about no want to. When it comes to salary increment level or whatever. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Akamwela?
Yeah, Gemwele.
Yes.
Hello? Akamwela? Doctor?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Ah,
hear you. We
so
can hear you. Mbemo you can know.
Okay. So when it comes to salary increment, the design should come from the executive. Okay, this is what we wanted to do, and this is what we wanted to implement. So now Parliament will have to approve that, and I know Parliament will never reject the initiative to increase salary for citizens. That government has and Parliament here reject. So the advocacy should start with Parliament. Parliament have been doing that as well. But government will always tell you, maybe we don't have enough resources in place for that. But I agree entirely with you, Ko. We definitely need to increase salary for our civil servants to earn, a very decent wage to take care of their families. And then, I would not disagree with anything on that. And I don't know how are we going to do it as a country for now, whether we can the term or maybe after we finish our term. But government definitely need to come with a design to change the entire structure. Can make sure this grading system of grade 1, 2, 3, 4. Budget and people can start earning money at least. I mean, the minimum should be from $10,000 upward. That for me, that is what should happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honorable, I have one final question for you. Of course, I believe that you are a firm believer in term limit. So the president run for another time.
Well, okay. For me, if you ask me my opinion, I would say if because although we do not have a term, we do not have family in the Gambia, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to talk about it. Because even the president himself will tell you earlier on, okay, maybe he wanted to serve 2 terms and go. But looking at the first term, when a controversy happened, the first term was a coalition, you know, presidency
Government.
kind of
Mhm.
government level. So when it came to NPP, NPP low, this is his second term, and he wanted to complete this one as second term sort of on the NPP and then work out. For me, I think that is what he wanted to do. And if there were 2 term limit in our constitution, honestly speaking, I would be the one to say, President, you cannot contest, you have to go. Honestly speaking, I was going to say that. But I know we had this conversation. Okay, the coalition presidency, over the woman coalition presidency that Kabila from NPP in 2021 he won. Now he want to contest again on the NPP to have second term, and then he can walk away and we can get someone else. So, but I'm a firm believer of 2 terms, honestly.
That's a very political answer, and I respect that. Job, Nake Balong, I don't want to push too much, but before I personally let go, I just want to say that ela political is way. I don't support the NPP no more, and that I'm very clear about, and it's really not hidden. But the fact is that ela political is very much respectable. The way you do your politics is very different from every other. And you don't run away from questions. You answer them to the best of your ability, and you don't try to defend the indefensible. And this is one thing that Yalong Hadamadu want to build trust between you and your constituency is about how you interact with them. And I would tell you one thing: a lot of people respect you not because you are in the NPP, but it's because of the way you carry yourself and the person you are. And the first time I got to know, oh, that's a parliamentarian, and I never know because I had to teach a class on an online class, and somebody reached out to me, oh, that's a parliamentarian. I was like, wow, this guy, one thing is that defines you is your humility, irrespective of one's age or whatever, you give people the maximum respect and whatever they deserve. And that's one thing that I personally would commend you for. And another thing would be, I don't want you to run for another term. You should be a big champion for term limit. Become vice president, become president. I don't mind, but it is what it is, and I'm very happy to have this conversation with you. And I wish you every best. And I know your constituency is doing very well. Probably organize more football championship and get young people engaged on one thing or another. Get them into conversations. We don't mind to put in money. So you want to run a football championship? Talk to the people. Let them afoy crime nungol tuje so ko ilo ma o don sono ko tondi o marché be dami o all yundum dala won la o marché be dami ma fo fondin kel wol gara o ma fo garawdal de
exactly.
but anyway
That's
I'm you
dangerous.
again and wishing you very 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 best in
Thank
whatever
you.
you do, man, honestly.
All right.
Yo.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
we're really proud of you.
Thank
We're
you.
really proud of the work that you have been doing. Even some of us, when you are selected to chair the investigation, National Assembly Committee to investigate Jambes asset, we don't have doubt, and you don't hear anybody talking about anything about you, even though you are from government bench. That speaks a lot about you. in contanda baga keso la jakere nya kondan kubati na ta jang yo ni ka chata banku kola and the recommendation jamal ke jamial no ko jigita is going to go a long way in helping the government to understand certain things and even other political players to put gaja ko ka ko jamal kaja be sambal nan ko de I mean we are in election year jigita be sambal nan baka chala baake surtout ila initiative for mi anna ko yorke all yundum ila scholarship package yol nin ku ko don dol mi anna ko e yuru ko mi samana atundo nyenka bari wato de baake nda be ka chala no bi barakata nya kondan ku bade ila last word is for no bi nin najibe la ni temonya.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yusuf. Allah baraka bake. Docs, ni fanan konto bake. I mean, yaw keken de balam, jata balam atinak. Yaw no mo nga follow le ken de fam andum. I'm also learning a lot from him. You know, at some point I ala Facebook live Sunday everything. Even though sometimes I wouldn't just come, but I'm learning a lot. You know, how about you? You know, whatever you say. I mean, sometimes, you know, we learn from the things that you say, even though sometimes you can go against us. But what is important in what you say is what we learn from what you're saying. And then how are we going to apply that as well? So, ngamobe kontomini vela mai kanjim programula. And then I think this is a very good conversation, not only with me, but also ngala platform will follow ngal nim model which is very important as well. We'll find a yellow opinion for be jande mi murna ko tankele pour kacha ku jamal be jami yalan ko be ke kande but ma fo no nying wat stun kono I mean I know ko in politics until one thing I don't do more camera comment ko I you know at some point I have follow with my people kafoko you have to show out what you are doing go yes that is good in politics but I do a lot me yalan comment ko mboka findin because one thing I believe ko if you're doing things for people sometimes nima most of ala sotolal and this is one of the things take a back I reach out to people nka dum mo nka kolke mfango nga finde and I'm going to continue doing that. Whether people molly akalam or makalam, I will do that. And at some point, sometimes I don't feel like I have to be in the position by force and I have to do this one or two things to be there by force. I feel like oh, and when I am doing it, I do it at to the best of my ability. And then but I'm really much happy. I'll come back again to give you a rundown of all the things that I've been doing. You know, many along coming code there from face value, mol nyai menje. Kudo be duma, will maybe insult to no dumale. And you know, just to tell you what some of the things, actually, the youth programs from the Minnesota. Doctor, I am coming up with something I have initiated earlier on. Implement. I'm going to implement it before the end of my term. I had an initiative to run. I mean, the government a volunteerism program, but then it's all based on, you know, environmental protection in our constituency, especially how schools are managing their green environment and all that. And I'm going to give prizes to schools and students when I'm coming aboard a lot of award. So I'll share this with you as well, maybe just to get some advice from you, how I'm structured in Yaga and Kudun. So these are some of the initiatives we will do in our constituency to enlighten people also in that area. Because Ndolkaimu, Mbo Fanna Bella. So we're in content the bakele. I mean, yeah, we will come back again, inshallah. Thank
If
you.
what Dr. Sambal NBB la fo
No,
No, no, no, no.
Dr.
We don't.
Sayama there.
We don't talk politics. You know, we do. Like, Honorable is one person who doesn't talk to you about politics. He talks to you about Gambia. Wala
Yeah.
gana kumare. Neje mole be mo horomala. Anala, they do their politics. That is politics. But when
Yeah.
they're talking to, like, there's a person who basically would travel about environmental issues around the world, trying to see what he
Yeah.
can bring to his society. So one day, NPP, UDP, whatever party you belong to, so long it's about the Gambia. That's the common denominator. At the end of the day, that's
Exactly.
your big brother, that's your sister over there. I didn't tell you killing. So political ndaga model je wulke fon wurin political la man jarante fon ofena because at the end of the day you support say oh I support CC I'll be like that's my brother you cannot change that.
sure
So
Yeah.
political or political, every political party have the right to do their politics and discuss the good things they are doing and what they want to do for the people. At the end of the day, it's about the Gambia.
sure
But
Exactly.
Abutunde, Nyinkaro Ninjabiro, them Wolfanankel, and then opinions would
exactly
always be things that we would have to respect at all times. But
all
very
right
good
Exactly.
to have you
Exactly.
here and thank you very much and enjoy your
Thank
meeting.
you.
thank you so
Thank
much
you. Thank
honorable
you.
bye
Thank you. Thank
all right
you. Thank you.
All
Bye
right.
bye.